Please welcome a true friend of the building trades and rising star in Pennsylvania politics, Mayor Paige Cognetti.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Brandon. Good morning, building trades. Woo! You know, as mayor of Scranton, the office theme song kind of comes with the territory. I had a whole list of other things. I'm a big classic rock fan. I thought, I could do CCR, I could do this, I could do that. But at the end of the day, when you're the mayor of Scranton, the office is what you've got to do. I think if the folks from the office had unionized, maybe things would have gone smoother at times. So, you've already heard from my governor, Josh Shapiro, about how our Commonwealth is benefiting from the Biden-Harris administration's investments in infrastructure and energy. I'm excited to talk about how the Biden administration is laying the foundation for Scranton's economic future and our economic stability. But before I do, I want to remember Scranton before Dunder Mifflin and before Joe Biden. Located in the middle of the anthracite coal region in northeastern Pennsylvania, just a couple hours from New York and a couple hours from Philadelphia, Scranton holds a special place in the history of working people and labor unions in the United States. The connection between our history and our president being a union supporter is no mistake. Through the latter half of the 19th century and well into the 20th, anthracite coal miners were responsible for heating the homes of tens of millions of Americans. In 1902, 80% of those coal miners, over 100,000, went on strike. They needed better pay and better working conditions. The strike lasted 163 days, 5 months, after President Theodore Roosevelt took steps to bring union and management together, the first time the United States president weighed in like that. As a result, the Anthracite Coal Strike Commission was created, and hearings were held for 3 months in the Lackawanna County Courthouse, right in the heart of downtown Scranton. It led to a reduction of hours from 10 to 9 and a 10% increase in pay. This is 1902. This is a really, really big deal. And President Teddy Roosevelt put himself on the line in a way that no other US president ever had. Does that sound familiar? The hero of that strike was United Mine Workers of America President John Mitchell. His statue stands today at that courthouse. It reminds us what's at stake in this election. Are we going to go back to a time when workers didn't have protections, when US presidents were not willing to put themselves on the line for your union brothers and sisters? Are we going to continue, as President Biden has done, to strengthen workers' rights and make it easier to organize? When I walk by that statue, as I do most days, it's just a couple blocks from City Hall, I like to think of a young Joe Biden riding his bike around, having no idea that later on he would be our president, the first president to go to the picket line and stand with UAW last fall. You can see in what President Biden does, that he truly, truly cares. I have a unique vantage point getting to see him in Scranton. He was just there last week. He deeply cares about people, and the programs and the legislation and the funding that he has put together, the support he has for all of you and all of our families, it resonates as he's in Scranton. When we're driving those streets, when they're waving to those kids on the side of the road, you can tell that he's from there, and every single day, every policy he's put in place, you can see the connection back to Scranton, back to those roots, back to the Scranton labor roots that were fomented in 1902 in that strike that go all the way back to Teddy Roosevelt. We're proud of our city's contribution to the labor movement. Just last week, he did a field rally on Pear Street at our Carpenters Local 445, the same union hall where he kicked off Election Day in 2020. President Biden feels at home there. He loves meeting the people who are working hard to build our communities and provide for their families. In Scranton, we're trying to create that fair shot for future workers. We're trying to boost our local economy from every angle, from childcare to transportation, from fighting to increase the minimum wage to boosting wages with our own city government workers. We're building more housing, and we're pushing to keep healthcare options local. Much of this effort is connected to displaced workers, young adults, and our workforce opportunities. As mayor, I get to attend community workforce meetings all over the place. Large ones at the Mohegan Sun Casino and small ones in little nooks and crannies of our city. It's the small ones that really matter. It's the small ones that you really see that spark in a young person's eyes when something you've said connects the dots between where they are and where they want to be. One of those community meetings recently, Drew Simpson from our local 445, he was just up here with me. We were on Jackson Street. Jackson Street's in our west side in Scranton. It's a place where families have it tough. There's a lot of families that have been really struggling. And we packed into that room on a Sunday. These are, you guys all know this. These are meetings that happen on Sundays, on times where you'd want to be with your family, but you're not with your family. You're helping make sure that we have a future for our economy, a future for labor, and a future for America. We were in that room, and Drew was talking to all of these kids. They didn't even know what a union was. They didn't know what a pension was. They're not thinking about health care. Their parents aren't even thinking about health care. They're trying to figure out how to put food on the table. And to watch them put it together as Drew talked about what their lives could be like with a union career, what their lives could be like if they go into an apprenticeship program. It's incredible to watch that. I know everyone in this room and anyone watching at home has felt that, but we need to spread that. We need to help other people feel that power. We need our kids to feel that power and understand that union work, apprenticeship programs, this is what's going to build their life and build their family-sustaining career. We have to go to those kids. We can't just sit around and wait for them to show up. I know you all know this. You have incredible training centers. We've got them in Scranton. We're so excited to have those, but we're doing that work. We're going out into the community. We're going out not just to the schools, but we're going to the places where the kids are. We've got kids working part-time jobs. They have no idea what could be out there for them. So explaining these apprenticeships and training are one thing, but helping young people understand the long-term benefits of quality health care, a pension, and strong protections in their workplace is eye-opening to many of them. We haven't done a good enough job, I think, of encouraging long-term planning for young people. Apprenticeships and union careers can be a game changer and the most solid opportunity for these kids to build a family-sustaining career. To help create these opportunities, I'm especially proud that Scranton worked with NABTU to create a program providing $75,000 in grants for registered pre-apprenticeship programs. That's open now in Scranton, and it closes on May 8th. So it's the first program we're aware of where the city dollars are going toward this. You all know that these efforts take boots on the ground and dedicated time, and it's time well spent. Our technical high schools are growing, and many of these classes are oversubscribed. IBEW Local 81 is up at our Career Technology Center. They're there every single week. I was on the phone earlier with Mike McDermott. He's not able to be here to join us this day, but he said that his team was there just yesterday at the CTC. One of my favorite events that I go to as mayor every year is CTC's graduation. You guys have been to these. Some of these kids are the first in their families to graduate high school. Many of the kids are already helping with part-time jobs, and through their CTC experience, through that vocational experience, through working with people like Mike from the IBEW, they're able to see that there is a future that hasn't been written out for them, that hasn't been explained by their career counselor, that hasn't been shown to them enough. The happiest 2 hours of my life as mayor every year is watching these kids graduate, watching their families graduate. It is the most emotional 2 hours that I spend every single spring. These families understand the possibilities, and the excitement is palpable. That feel the power. These families are feeling the power of opportunity for their children. Making these connections to our workforce is critical. We've got to keep helping families understand. We've invested $500,000 in Scranton from President Biden's rescue plan in workforce navigation, because it's not that the opportunities aren't there. The opportunities are there. They're there in the trades. They're there in all sorts of different things that kids could go into, but they don't know about it. We have so many adults who are trying to transition. They don't know the resources that are there. So through the President's Rescue Plan, we've been able to put that $500,000 into a workforce navigator to help connect those dots. It's not that you all are missing. It's not that those apprenticeship programs are missing. It's not that we don't have those training centers. It's that people don't know to go to them. So it's our job to be that glue, and we're able to do that through the President's investment in us. And we're working to change. We're ready. At the UA, Local 524, Pat Dolan and his team have expanded the training facility, and they're planning further enhancements to grow opportunities for people to better their lives. 524 now has the largest apprenticeship program in their more than 100-year history. To see these investments happening and to see the buzz around them is huge. I think we've talked about this a lot this morning. We're seeing things change. We're seeing a shift. College is way too expensive, and I think that parents are finally starting to realize that. The kids are definitely starting to realize that. I think the kids are realizing it before the parents do. These are ways for them to start making a living and build their future. And we've got to keep encouraging it. And without President Biden's funding through the rescue plan, without the opportunity that the bipartisan infrastructure law provides, we wouldn't have these opportunities. Scranton was built on hard work. And thanks to the brave coal miners, union labor, we've got to make sure that we capture this moment. We've got to capture this time. President Biden has laid it all out for us. We've got $1.9 trillion in infrastructure funding. We've got the Inflation Reduction Act. We've got the American Rescue Plan. There's so much that we've got to take advantage of, and we can't let this moment go. We've carried on the legacy of looking out for people in Scranton. Any project over $25,000 funded by the city of Scranton or Pennsylvania state government pays a prevailing wage. And you guys are the first to hear. You all are the first to hear that this spring my administration will be proposing Scranton's first responsible contractor ordinance to guarantee that taxpayer-funded public works projects are going to responsible contractors, not bad actors who win contracts through low bids, and they drive up the cost through change orders. Any firm that broke a law recently cannot get a job in Scranton. This ordinance will protect public safety and taxpayer dollars, plain and simple. Unprecedented work that we're doing in Scranton. Again, thanks to President Biden. We have $15 million in parks work, $15 million in streetscapes. We have infrastructure projects going on for our stormwater. It's incredible what we're able to do. We're even able to help work on a $5 million project at our City Hall. City Hall was built in 1888, and now it's scaffolded. It looks gorgeous. I love scaffolding. It's the wallpaper on my phone is a scaffolded City Hall. I'm so proud of that. We're working with a union roofing company for that work, and it's just been an incredible boon to the city, a visible, tangible progress. Not only are these projects improving the quality of our life for our residents, but the higher pay helps bolster our local economy. We know that when we pay workers more, they have more to spend at local shops and restaurants. They can take care of their families and pay for a bright future. What I love about these projects is that people can see them. When you're the mayor of Scranton, running a city where the president is from, you have to be able to show results. Like, you can imagine how many calls I get from press on a regular basis. Is Joe Biden really from there? Is he? Are you sure? And I get to take them around and show them all the investments that we've made with the dollars that he has unlocked. It's so important that we can show that progress in 2024 that was promised in 2020. As we know, promises aren't always kept. We know that sometimes promises are just promises. Joe Biden has delivered for us. He has delivered for unions. He's delivered for working families. He's delivering for Scranton. And we're so proud of him. Scranton was built on hard work, union jobs, entrepreneurship, and family tradition. Qualities we value today and that are the future of our success. Folks in Scranton and across the country, they just want a fair shot for themselves, their children, and their grandchildren. No one knows that better than our hometown president, Joe Biden. His investments in infrastructure in communities like Scranton are helping create good jobs, jumpstart careers, and inspire business starts. President Biden comes from a family that has made decisions that are really, really tough. We've all heard that story of him learning that his dad lost his job and they had to move from Delaware. That's the lens through which he sees the world. He sees the world from the lens of a family that's just trying to make ends meet, that just wants a fair shot for their kids and has to move to another state to make it all work. He gets that it's not easy out there for American families. Our national building trades, you all in this room, you're working your tails off every day rebuilding America brick by brick on projects made possible by President Biden's funding. For the next 6 months, we've got another job for you. We have to re-elect Joe Biden so we can keep this momentum for our families, for our economy, and for America's future. I like this. Woo! America's future is literally in your hands. Unions built America's middle class. Unions built Scranton, and Scranton built Joe Biden. And just in just a few moments, we're going to hear from Joe Biden himself, who is, on one hand, what I love about our president is he is, on one hand, the president of the United States. He is the leader of the free world, and he is incredible at his job. But he is also a kid from Scranton who likes to ride his bike, he loved baseball, and he loves chocolate chip ice cream. Scranton comes out through and through in our president, through his policies and through his love and his gratitude for everyone in this room. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to welcome our president in just a few moments.